This week we're taking a look at the 1957 film, The Curse of Frankenstein.
There we go. Okay, so Curse of Frankenstein, the movie you accidentally watched instead of Event Horizon.
Instead of Event Horizon.
They couldn't be more different.
Part of me kind of wishes that I hadn't figured that out until we had started recording.
Oh god.
Because I think that would have been a little funny reaching that point on while recording, but
That would have been so disastrous. Okay, so Curse of Frankenstein was directed by Terence Fisher, and would you believe it, he did a lot of Hammer movies.
No way.
Well, people will be doing another one of his soon enough. I guess I should mention. Okay, so this was a Hammer movie, which anybody who doesn't know, Hammer was like a British film studio, like production studio. They were most known for doing like horror movies in like the 50s, 60s, and 70s. A lot of them starred Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, would you believe it?
Yep.
Like, they did other stuff as well, but they were most known for doing horror movies, specifically Frankenstein and Dracula. Those were their biggest cash cows. And this was their first Frankenstein movie, Curse of Frankenstein. The cast. A few returning faces, because Peter Cushing is in this.
Yep, we previously had him in Star Wars as Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yes, and his face in Rogue One. That was so weird.
Yeah.
As well as Christopher Lee, again. I feel like we've had him a lot, actually.
We have, because we've had him in 2 Star Wars movies.
As Count Dooku.
Yeah.
And Gremlins 2, The New Batch, as Dr. Cushing Catheter? Is that what his character's name was?
I think so.
What a weird name. But yeah, those are like 2 guys that, like, if you saw a bunch of horror movies back then, they were probably in them. But they were just in, like, Christopher Lee, like, his filmography is so long. So, like, it's very possible that if you've seen a movie, he was in it. So, even if you didn't intend to. I think, like, he's one of the actors I have, like, the most movies logged on Letterboxd, if I remember right. It's Christopher Lee. Valerie Gaunt is in this, and the reason I mention her is this is half of her filmography.
Really?
Can you guess what the other half was?
Was it another Hammer movie?
Yes. Can you guess which one?
Was it Dracula?
Yes! So we're doing her entire filmography on this podcast.
Amazing.
And I hope you liked this one, because there's a bunch more of these that we'll probably watch at some point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because aren't there like 7 movies, something like that?
I think there are... Oh, I wrote it somewhere in here. I think there's... Okay, there's 9 Dracula movies and 7 Frankenstein movies, I think.
Oh, wow. There's a lot of Dracula.
There are, yeah. And some of them are really bad, but we'll get to that. Some of them were good, though. We'll get to that. So at the time, this and a lot of other Hammer movies were controversial due to the violence, because it was the 50s, and...
Yeah, any amount of violence was controversial.
People hadn't seen this much blood before, and what's notable, this is Hammer's first color film.
Oh, really?
You see quite a bit of bright red blood in this movie.
Yeah.
And the reviews were terrible.
Really?
Back then. The audiences loved the movies, but critics, they thought they were so violent and, like, unsophisticated, which... How the turntables. Okay, actually, I forgot to write Leonard Maltin's review. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try searching and see if he reviewed it. I might have to go upstairs.
So has he done a review of this?
He does reviews of like a bunch of stuff, so I guess I mentioned earlier, but coincidentally my dad ended up watching this on TV yesterday.
Oh. Huh.
They just happened to be showing it. And they were showing it like right before Young Frankenstein, so... But I just watched on Tubi, like, before that, so,
Yeah.
I only knew it was... He just mentioned, like, there was a Frankenstein movie on TV, and it was really gory, and then I looked up the TV schedule, I'm like, I was surprised it was this one. That made me laugh that it was this one of all of them. But... Here, I'll be back in just a second. Cerveza cristal. Cerveza cristal. Okay, I'm back. Let me see. Leonard Maltin. What did he think of Curse of Frankenstein? So many curse. There's so many movies with the word curse in them. Sheesh.
Yeah. While you're looking, something that I think you might like to know is there is a Frankenstein versus Baragon movie made by Toho.
Versus... Wait.
Baragon.
I might have seen this. It was under a different title, though, I think. I've seen a bunch of, like...
Let's see, it looks like it was released in the US as Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Yeah, because that's not Baragon, anyway. Frankenstein Conquers the... Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen this. Because I, like, saw that poster, I'm like, yeah. I think it was supposed to be... It's supposed to be Frankenstein versus Godzilla.
Godzilla, yeah.
Yeah, because, it's that character... I think it's one of the characters from War of the Gargantuas that's in it, fighting... God, I don't know. It's so bizarre. What a weird movie. Anyway, okay, so Leonard Maltin's review. What do you want to guess he gave Curse of Frankenstein?
I'm gonna guess he gave it a 3. Same as Batman Forever.
No, apparently Batman Forever was slightly better.
Oh, come on. 2.5.
2.5.
Ugh.
He said, okay retelling of original Shelley tale. That's it.
Oh, that's it?
And then he just summarizes the movie and says it's the first of the series. Oh, come on. He didn't even try.
No. That's barely a review.
I guess when there's 7 movies, hopefully he liked some of the other ones better then in that case. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so initial thoughts. I had seen these before, like all the Hammer, like Frankenstein, Dracula movies, but it had been so long, I could barely remember anything from it. Really, the only thing I really remembered about this one was that this is the one where Christopher Lee is the monster. So,
yeah.
because that's really what sets them apart, is like the different monsters in them, so yeah. So I don't really remember how this one compares to the rest of the series, but I would say this one's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's got a good cast, some good effects. The makeup's pretty good. It's pretty well shot and stuff, and like the set design's good. It's not perfect, and I'll get into some of the problems, but I think it was a decent movie for what it was.
So, for me, this was my first time watching this movie. I didn't quite know what to expect going into it because I hadn't seen any of the Hammer horror movies before. I just knew Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were in it. I came out of it pleasantly surprised. I wouldn't say it's great, but I did enjoy it. I think a lot of the build-up throughout the movie, like the stuff leading up to the monster, was very good. I thought the characters and the dialogues were very good. I thought the sets and the atmosphere were very good. But once he brings the creature to life, it feels like it becomes a very different movie.
It kind of, yeah.
And it kind of, at points, it feels silly by today's standards.
In a way, Frankenstein is scarier than his own creation in this movie, which is interesting.
Yes, actually, that's a very good point. Frankenstein is much scarier than the creature.
And we'll definitely be talking about Peter Cushing's portrayal of the character in this movie, for sure.
Yeah.
It was weird that they cast Christopher Lee as the monster. Like, that's not a... I guess, like... Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to it. I feel like I'm just going to be thinking of a young Frankenstein while I'm talking about this, though. Just because that's like the most recent Frankenstein movie I watched. Because I watched Curse of Frankenstein like a week ago, and then Young Frankenstein was on TV yesterday. That's the one I'm thinking about right now.
So you just got it, yeah.
But to be fair, that might actually be I think that is my favorite Frankenstein movie. I think that movie's hilarious. But there are a lot of good Frankenstein movies. The story, do we need to, I mean, do you know the plot of Frankenstein? Like,
yeah.
It's like, the plot, Dr. Victor Frankenstein creates a monster because he's obsessed with life and death, so, and things don't exactly turn out. Anyway, the monster's got green skin. I guess the difference here is, Peter Cushing plays Frankenstein, and the monster's played by Christopher Lee, so that's how you change it up a bit. Okay, the pros, and I think let's just start with the main positive of this movie, Peter Cushing. I mean...
He does such a fantastic job as Dr. Frankenstein.
He was perfect casting for these movies, because... Okay, the Hammer Frankenstein movies, they're not my favorite Frankenstein movies, but I would say he's certainly one of my favorite depictions of the Doctor, because he's such a crazy, obsessive asshole in these. Yeah. From what I remember, he only gets worse as these movies go.
Oh, good. I actually love that. Because, with a lot of other Frankenstein adaptations, they make Victor Frankenstein sort of, misunderstood, or, he just couldn't see what he was doing. In this, they just make him straight up evil. I think it's great.
From what I remember in the book, he's not evil, but he's not good either. A lot of the adaptations make him way more sympathetic. This one just, they just straight up make him just... about as selfish and horrible and crazy. Just it got so bad in these movies actually that to the point where even Peter Cushing was getting uncomfortable with it. There's a scene in one of the later ones which, if we ever get around to it, But he's just so engaging in this movie because, he's just so passionate about this one goal, and he just does not care what he has to do to make his creation. He literally just, he straight up kills a guy for his brain in this. I mean... Yeah.
He kills multiple people in this.
I knew that he killed somebody in one of these movies, but I just couldn't remember which one. I was actually kind of shocked that it was in this one. He just pushes a dude off like a staircase and kills him in this.
Yeah. Honestly, for a while, I thought he was going to kill, like his tutor, Paul Kremp, the guy played by Robert Urquhart.
You thought he was gonna kill Paul? Yeah, that would have made sense.
Yeah.
And then he like steals the body of a robber that was hanged. The head's not usable because the birds ate most of it. No, yeah. He kills a professor and takes his brain, but then Paul accidentally damages the brain. But he uses the brain anyway. I mean, at that point,
like he's just like picking glass out of it, and it's just like
They basically just ended up using the brain of Abby Normal. To like...
pretty much. I think I wrote down in my notes he's still using Abby Normal's brain.
We both have the same thing. Yeah. Are you saying I put an abnormal brain into a 7.5 foot long, 54-inch wide gorilla? God, I love that scene so much. And he doesn't get, like, in the book, I kind of got the sense that Frankenstein cared about Elizabeth, the love interest, and also his cousin, apparently. Yeah. But in this movie, it's more of an arranged marriage, and he just really doesn't seem to care at all about her.
It even it feels like it goes a step beyond that, too, and it's very manipulative with how he does it.
It gets so bad that she just straight up says she wants to kill him later in the movie.
Yeah. And, like, you find out that, also, this isn't the only time he's done this. He promised his, like, maid that he was going to marry her in order to get her to work for him longer. It's just, he feels so scummy.
He's just so awful in this. Yeah, it's great. It's so great. I forgot he was, like, this dislikable from day one in these movies. Because from what I remembered, like, I remembered, Frankenstein's a bastard, but I only remembered that in, like, some of the later ones, but no, apparently...
Yeah, not right off the bat.
Already, yeah. And then
I will say, even though we've mostly been talking...
They only end up getting married because, like, she's having a child, so, And he's just like, I mean, he's a terrible fiancé. He's just stuck in his lab all the time. Like, at one point she says he doesn't even eat or sleep. He's more focused on his work than on his soon-to-be wife. It doesn't even seem like he loves anyway. He loves his creation more than he loves her, apparently. Maybe he should just marry the monster at this point.
New meaning to the Bride of Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
But we've mostly been talking about Peter Cushing's performance. There's maybe 5 minutes where you see a young Frankenstein where he's maybe 10 years old.
Some other kid, yeah.
That kid does a fantastic job of acting like Peter Cushing.
I'm trying to remember what he looks like, because I don't remember him looking that much like...
He didn't look like him, but he was able to act like him pretty well.
Because I don't really remember... Yeah, because that was something I forgot about, was the whole movie's like a flashback, because the whole...
Yeah.
The whole, wraparound is it's a flashback told from Frankenstein's prison cell because he's about to be executed. So the ending of this movie is really dark.
It is really dark because he gets led away to a guillotine at the end of the movie.
They don't actually show it, but he's basically just taken away to be executed. Not that matters. They made sequels, so...
Yeah. Somehow he gets out.
Yeah, I don't remember how.
Maybe by making a monster.
They probably don't even explain it. It's probably just somehow Frankenstein returned.
Give him the old Palpatine treatment.
Oh, it's a different Star Wars villain, though. But anyway, Spear Cushing played Tarkin.
Yeah, yeah.
And I liked the whole build up with him making the monster too, where he's just getting.
Yes.
You just see the different ways he gets all these body parts, which is cool. You know, like he apparently he needs the hands of like a famous sculptor because he wants the best hands possible.
Yeah, yeah.
He wants the best brain possible, so he kills a professor. And he wants the best body possible, so I guess he gets a robber. He was just hanged.
Yeah, no, the whole build up to the creation of the monster is great because it really just shows how fanatic Frankenstein is about this whole process. It's slow. His like kind of mentor tutor character Paul is like trying to discourage him from doing it, and you see all this like tension and build up in Frankenstein's personal life as well.
The back and forth between those two was good too, like, cause he's like,
yeah,
you know, the Paul Krempel, which I tried looking him up because I was like, wait, was that character in the book? And I tried looking up Paul Krempel, and an Olympic gymnast was the first thing that came up. So I guess not.
Oh, nice.
But he's basically the one that thinks Frankenstein is going too far. Because I mean, yeah, you know. Your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's surprisingly graphic for a 50s movie because you see, like, the severed hands, you see the brain, you see, like, it's really bloody during some parts. And it was in color, too, so I bet people were, like, really shocked when this first came out. Because usually, a lot of Frankenstein movies, usually it's, like, off-screen. They don't really show much of it, you know?
Yeah, but this one, it was very front and center. I will say, I think the sets are fantastic.
Yeah, the set design is pretty good. Especially the lab.
Yep. The lab, really, his entire, like, estate is, like, really just intricate and just so well made.
They did a really good job making this look like a period piece.
Yeah.
Set in, like, the 1800s, you know? Because that's when you want Frankenstein to be set, right? It's like, you know... Because there's, like, some versions that try to do it in modern day, but it's just, it doesn't feel right.
It just doesn't work.
You know, you want Frankenstein to be a period piece, you know? Because even though it's a timeless story, it just makes sense, like, in that time period.
Yeah.
You know? And there's a lot of memorable shots, too. Like, one that I remember was this part where he's looking through a magnifying glass. His eye looks really huge.
Oh, yeah.
A shot which was, I don't know if, have you ever seen the movie Top Secret?
I don't think so, but it sounds familiar.
It was done by the same people that did Airplane.
What is this poster?
It's the same people that did
that makes sense.
Airplane and, like, Naked Gun, stuff like that. It's the same kind of humor as those. Peter Cushing has a cameo in it, and they do a parody of that shot, except he takes away the magnifying glass and his eye just actually looks like that.
That's pretty good.
It's a pretty good visual gag. Yeah, Top Secret's a really funny movie. But yeah, like, just the lengths that Dr. Frankenstein goes just to do his experiments in this are just insane. Like, the dude's just crazy, apparently. And he takes no responsibility for it. He, like, blames Paul for the experiment not going well. He's saying, like, you're the one that damaged the brain. I'm, like, thinking, dude, just get a different brain. I mean...
Yeah, you've obviously shown that you have no problem killing someone. Just do it again. Don't use the damaged one.
I'm honestly shocked he didn't kill Paul and take his brain in this movie.
That's kind of what I was thinking was going to happen.
I know, yeah. You would think he would... He seems like the kind of guy that would stoop that low. The monster meets a blind man who accidentally pours soup on him. Oh, wait, wrong movie.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you going? I was gonna make espresso. God, I love that movie so much. But we should talk about the monster a bit. Christopher Lee plays the monster. The makeup on him is really good.
Yeah.
Bloody stitches. He has mismatched eyes.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of good work was put into it. He looks like a mishmashed reanimated corpse. Like Frankenstein should look like.
Partly because that's just what Christopher Lee looked like.
Yeah.
He just looks like a mishmash. That's why he played Dracula, right? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But also, Christopher Lee was a really tall dude, too. I think he was like 6'5". Like, he was really tall. So it kind of makes sense that he would play the monster, even though, like, usually you think of the monster as being a bit bulkier, but, like, his height, like, the dude just towers over everybody.
Yeah.
And he's got, like, a black jacket, which at some points he looked kind of like Nosferatu when he was wearing that, and, like, the way his hands were, the way he held his hands down, he kind of looked like Nosferatu a bit. I don't know if you picked up on that, but...
Yeah.
And I liked his... I think he was a good choice. I just kind of wish he was in the movie more. We'll probably talk about that when we get to cons. Because he looks really creepy as the monster.
Yeah.
It's a really good design. I just wish it was utilized.
I had actually
more.
written down here, he looks a bit like a Deadite.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit. Now that I think about it. I hadn't thought of that, actually. Yeah, he kind of does look like like the expression and like the face too. Yeah, he looks like kind of like the, what was it, Henrietta?
Yeah.
I'll swallow your soul.
I'll swallow your soul.
Just give him a really long neck, and yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Yeah.
I think the music score was pretty good too.
Yeah, it worked pretty well.
It was done by James Bernard, who, surprise, surprise, did a bunch of other Hammer movies.
No way.
At one point, they shoot the monster in the eye, and there's a lot of blood during that part. I was actually kind of shocked at how bloody this is for a movie from the 50s.
Yeah.
It's like, this is before the rating system, too. Like, because the rating system didn't come into effect until, like, the late 60s, so...
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of shocked they got away with some of this. And they bury him, although that doesn't last long, apparently.
No.
He lights the monster on fire by throwing a lamp at him, and he falls through the rafter into the water tank. Oh, that's another thing. They keep the monster in this water tank.
Yeah, in order to, like, revive it.
For some reason, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty good death scene, too, where he fell through the rafter.
Yeah.
And it's only 84 minutes, so it's not a very taxing watch.
Yeah, it goes by pretty quick, too, which is nice.
I don't think any of these Hammer movies were that long, if I remember right. Certainly not the Frankenstein ones. I don't remember them being Yeah, there's a few that are 90 minutes. The longest one is like hour 41.
Oh, wow.
Wait, how many of these are there? Wait a minute, are there 6 or 7 of these? There's okay, 7. There are 7 of them. I think one of them doesn't have Peter Cushing in it, though, if I remember right.
Yeah, because I think one of them, I did a little bit of reading, I think one of them is supposed to be like a loose remake of this first one.
Horror of Frankenstein does not have Peter Cushing in it. I think the other ones do, but that one doesn't, for whatever reason. How long is that one? Wait. one's like... Yeah, like the longest one of these is like an hour 41, so it's not like they're taxing watches. I don't know how long the Dracula ones are, but I can look. That's another thing. When we do these, are we just doing the ones that Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee in them, or are we gonna do ones that don't have them in them?
That's a good question. We might need to talk about that a bit more.
Okay, Brides of Dracula does have Peter Cushing in it, but not Christopher Lee, so that's going to be a little weird.
Okay.
And I think it's the same with Legend of the Seven Gold Vampires. It has Peter Cushing, but not, for some reason, Christopher Lee's not it. And again, I'm not sure if that counts as a Dracula movie. I guess Professor Van Helsing's in it, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any of the Dracula movies are that long either. They're like 90 minutes, most of them.
Well, pretty short.
Yeah. I guess maybe when we do some of those other ones, we could like combine them together or something like that. Do you have anything else before we get to cons or?
I think we're good to move on.
Okay, so the Hammer movies are weird because they, not to be too much of a literary geek, they sort of follow the original source material and they sort of don't.
Yeah, they're really like this one, at least from what I could tell, was very like pick and choose with what they used.
Guess they're more accurate than like the Universal movies were, but barely.
Yeah.
But like it's just kind of strange. And the stuff they chose like to include and not include is just so random that it's like anyway.
Yeah.
It takes over half of the movie for the monster to even show up.
Yeah.
And then even after that, the monster, he's not in the movie much. I mean, he looks creepy, but he doesn't really act that threatening for the rest of the movie. He just acts like a kid learning how to walk.
He's very, and this was one of my big problems. Like one of my biggest cons with the movie is that the creature just kind of shambled around for like maybe like 15 on-screen minutes and didn't really do much. Like there is like the scene where he goes out and he meets the old blind man's grandson in the woods, but like their interaction's very short and he's just kind of standing there the whole time.
And the casting of Christopher Lee is weird because what's one thing you remember Christopher Lee for? His voice.
Standing around awkwardly and not talking.
Yeah. Can you imagine Count Dooku doing that? Anyway. Or Saruman.
Yeah.
It'd be like casting Christopher Lee as one of the orcs. It just doesn't make sense.
It feels like a waste of casting.
Because the guy, he has such a great voice. Too.
Yeah.
Like, and, okay. I know the monster usually doesn't talk, like, in most versions, but he did in the book a lot.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. If the monster was more book accurate, I think Christopher Lee would have been a great choice for that. Where he's very like eloquent, like he's read Paradise Lost and all this, and he's smarter than Victor.
But he's also really villainous too, and like creepy.
Yeah,
he's got that Alan Rickman quality where he's like,
yeah,
just like kind of. He's got like a sort of arrogance to him, but also like this classiness as well. And he's also really tall and has that great voice too.
Yeah.
So it's just weird that they cast Christopher Lee in this. I think they did the same thing with the Mummy. If I remember right, I think Christopher Lee plays the Mummy as well in the Hammer version. Or does he? Wait. No, wait a minute. I might be misremembering it. Wait. No, yeah, he does. Yeah, he plays the Mummy in that. I don't remember what he looks like, but...
I'm guessing kind of like a mummy.
Yeah. Oh, you don't say. I'm not even sure I've seen that one in full, actually, now that I think about it. He's got the right look to play a mummy.
Yeah.
Anyway. No offense. Well, he definitely does now, because, maybe they mummified Christopher Lee. Did they mummify Christopher Lee when he died? Like, jeez. Oh, I'm such an asshole. Ugh, rest in peace. He was a good actor. But yeah, it's just they were, there was a weird casting choice, and then they didn't, use him to his full potential. Like, this is definitely more of like, it's called Curse of Frankenstein. It's definitely more about the doctor than it is about the monster. So go in with that expectation, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then the other thing I had written down is, like, towards the end, I thought he killed Elizabeth by accident.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, because he shoots her instead of the monster at the end of the movie.
But she survives, and I think it would have been a lot more tragic if he accidentally killed Elizabeth, because then he would have realized the consequences of his actions.
And because then that means that then the only witness would have been Paul, which would have made more sense for him to stay silent at the end of the movie like he did.
So yeah, there were just a few creative choices that I was like,
Yeah.
It definitely has a better first half than second half. That was something you mentioned. Like, even though we didn't record like last week, we talked a bit, and you mentioned that you liked the movie a lot more before the monster showed up. And when I watched it, I was thinking about that, and I'm going, you know what? I have to agree with you on that.
Yeah. And kind of like adding to that a little bit, although I do think that the movie is very well paced, it almost feels like, kind of like RoboCop 2, it almost feels like it was a 2-act movie.
It almost feels like, yeah.
Because, like, they introduce the monster, and then they, like, resolve the movie. It feels like there needs to be, like, something else that happens.
Yeah, and then I think also it's just the length of it. It's not very long, so, like, it kind of, if anything, the problem is maybe it went a little too fast, so.
Yeah, which is not something we say often on this show.
I think I made that comment about Superman 4, but that was a way worse example of. So that movie's way too, like, that movie, like, there's so many points where you're just like, wait a minute, that would have made sense if they'd included that scene, but anyway. It makes me wonder how the other ones in the series compare, because, it's like, because maybe some of them were a little better than this one, but I don't remember. It's just been so long.
I will say, it has put me in the mood to check out at least one of the sequels, like, on my own time.
I feel like the second one, I don't remember. The second one might be slightly better regarded than the first one, but I don't remember.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely know some of the later ones get pretty ridiculous. So, like Frankenstein created woman and Frankenstein and the monster from hell. Oh, if we keep watching these, we'll get David Prowse as the monster in some of these.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because that was part of why
that's a returning cast member.
That's why I mentioned these while we were doing the Star Wars podcast, is because that's why George Lucas cast these guys in his movies, is because he was a fan of the Hammer movies. And it's like Tarkin is played by Dr. Frankenstein, Darth Vader is played by the monster, so it's almost like Frankenstein and his monster are on the Death Star.
Yeah, a little bit. Huh.
And obviously Christopher Lee, he played Dracula. Count Dooku, Count Dracula. I wonder. And then, like, Christopher Lee getting cast in a bunch of Tim Burton movies later in his career. It's because Tim Burton loved these types of movies, you know. Which is especially, like, you watch Sleepy Hollow, that's basically a modern day Hammer movie. Except it's the Headless Horseman instead of, you know. But anyway.
Yeah.
And I guess Peter Jackson was a fan as well, so, you know, that makes sense, actually, considering Peter Jackson's early movies. They're like horror movies. They're, like, really bloody and gory. Yeah. I think I suggested doing Dead Alive on the podcast. I feel like that would be a good... If you want, like, kind of an Evil Dead type movie again, we could do that.
Yeah, that might be a fun one to check out.
But anyway... Did you have anything else to add about cons? We kind of went off track a bit.
I think that's about all that I had. Yeah, I think that's what I had.
I'm surprised we had more to talk about with Frankenstein than... Or wait, were we talking about this one longer than Event Horizon? I don't know.
I think we talked about Event Horizon for longer. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
It's... When do we stop recording that one and start... Anyway... Okay, they want overall thoughts to begin to that.
Yeah, so it's a very solid, very, very solid interpretation of Frankenstein. If you go in with the expectation that this is going to be about Dr. Frankenstein and not about the monster, it is a very good watch. That first half it just has some incredible build-up. The sets are phenomenal, the acting is phenomenal, especially from Peter Cushing. And even though it falters a bit after the monster shows up and starts doing some things, it's still able to hold on to a lot of its core tension, and it finishes well. It finishes well.
Yeah. Again, I don't remember how it compares to its sequels. But I guess comparing it to, like, other Frankenstein movies that are maybe a little more fresh in my mind, I don't like it as much as Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, Frankenstein. But it's good. I guess, again, it's more of a Dr. Frankenstein movie than a Frankenstein monster movie. It's easily the best Frankenstein movie we've done on the podcast.
Yeah.
Because the other was Army of Frankensteins, and that movie's horrible.
I forgot we did that.
You forgot.
I forgot we did a Frankenstein movie already.
Oh, God, yeah. This is kind of why I wanted to do this one, was to make up for that stain on our record. And thankfully, I think this made up for it. Really, you watch this just for Peter Cushing. That's why these movies... I think that's why these movies were so popular. It's just because Peter Cushing, like, he's amazing in this. Like,
yeah.
He overshadows everything else about the movie. Because it was just one of those casting choices where it just feels like he was just born to play that role. He's just this crazy, obsessive, you know, doctor who... in the pursuit of life and death, caused a lot of death in his wake. So,
yeah.
And I want to watch more of these. I don't know when, but, you know, is there the reason we put off watching these is because there are so many of these. There's, like, if you add up, like, all the if you add up the Hammer Frankenstein and Hammer Dracula movies, there's, what, like 16 of them in total?
Yeah, it's a little absurd.
It's kind of crazy. How much... That's the thing, like, how did they get so much longevity out of that? Because it's the same thing over and over, right? He, like, brings a monster to life, and then things go wrong.
Yeah.
How many times can you do that?
Yeah.
Guess we'll eventually find out, like, how many times can you do that before it gets stale? Like,
hopefully it's less than 7.
Less than... Yeah, hopefully. Well, it is, because 1 was good at the least.
Oh, true.
But will it be less than 6, I guess, is the...
Yeah, we will have to see.
So how many... Wait. I don't know how well regarded the other ones are. I know, at the very least, I know, like, the last few of them get pretty bad reviews. But no, we're taking a break from Frankenstein for a while. I don't know when we'll continue that.
Yep.
Next time, we're doing Creep Show, right?
You're doing Creep Show. Well, I'm gonna watch a different movie.
Oh shit! Are you gonna watch?
No, just kidding. I'll be watching Creep Show.
You know what? Actually, no. Let's change it up. I'm gonna watch Horror of Dracula, and you can watch Creep Show.
There we go. Sounds good.
I'm not actually gonna do that. I wouldn't do that. I do actually want to watch Creep Show.
Yeah.
I've seen it before, but I enjoy it, so I want to watch it again. I feel like that'll be a fun one, and it'll be interesting because it's an anthology movie, so we'll have different stuff to talk about.
Stephen King,
and it's Stephen King, not just Stephen King, George Romero.
Oh, that's right.
Have you seen? I guess you saw part of Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Maybe we should do those at some point.
I think this would be fun. But again, that kind of comes into a question of when do we stop?
Just do the first 3, probably.
Well,
actually, I kind of want to do Land of the Dead. And I'll give you 2 reasons why. And those are some of the cast members. Land of the Dead has John Leguizamo and Dennis Hopper in it.
Oh, that's a fun cast.
So you get the return of Luigi Mario and Koopa.
And yeah.
It's a Mario Brothers reunion, apparently, but without Bob Hoskins.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
I'm a bit hesitant to do some of the other ones, though, because some of those Dead sequels are really bad. Like, we're definitely not doing the found footage one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, well, until then, Andy Griffith. Nailed it.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.